Now on Coast TV News.
Erin's aftermath.
This storm in particular just happened to have very strong winds.
Sand swept away, roads underwater, and what's next for protecting the shoreline?
Closure, confusion?
If you're saying that it's closed, then maybe you shouldn't let people go.
Surf fishing lot closed and swimming banned, but crowds still waded in the gap between official rules and what's really happening on the sand.
Waterfront properties become in-the-water properties. A look from our Coast Copter as animals as well as people struggle against Mother Nature's remnants.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Struggles to navigate flooded waterways hours after Hurricane Erin left the coast. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with the impacts of Hurricane Erin that are still hitting us today on Delmarva.
On a gorgeous day, it may be hard to remember that a hurricane was hitting our beaches, but from our Coast Copter, you can see Erin's lasting impact. Bethany Beach still closed. Look at the waterline and see how the water reached the dunes. Heavy machinery removing sand from walkways as lifeguards keep beachgoers behind barriers. 2 buoys keeping people on the boardwalk and off the sand, though plenty of folks came to see Erin's wrath themselves. Bethany's main roadways, now waterways. Water taking over driveways. And the Indian River Inlet, the recently restored dunes, held up, but you can see a sheet of sand eroded by Erin's waves. Fenwick Island still quite flooded, the bay water taking over streets. It's hard to tell where the bay ends and where the road begins. Cars still struggling to navigate the still high water. To Ocean City, erosion imminent as beachgoers are butted up against the dune line. At the inlet, crews work to move sand that took over the inlet parking lot and repair a walkway on the beach. In Assateague, we caught crews clearing sand as a red flag warning remains. The remnants of Erin, however, not stopping beachgoers who were bothering Maryland's wild ponies on the beach, and if anything, bringing joy to surfers, with huge waves still off Maryland's shore. To Virginia, a house surrounded by water. Chincoteague's dune fence washed away. A wild pony and her foal struggling to wade through the water. Dunes in both Chincoteague and Assateague windswept. You can see just how high the water went up on the Maryland side. As the sun shines and another August weekend approaches, a reminder that Mother Nature has the ultimate say on our coast's conditions long term.
And in Rehoboth Beach, mostly unscathed, little erosion if any, but lots of beachgoers and some very heavy surf you can see there on the video.
And in Broadkill Beach, calm waters and still erosion, but it looks about the same as it did a few days ago. There are still steep drop-offs there on that Delaware Bay beach.
And on your screen now, this flooding closed down Route 1 Thursday night, just south of Dewey Beach. Meanwhile, on the north side of the Indian River Inlet, you can see major erosion. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live at the Indian River Inlet. Brandon, the dunes survived Erin, but DENREC says it's going to do more testing to determine how bad that erosion is.
Yes, Charlie, check this out. Early tests from DENREC show at least 10 to 14 feet of sand and dune have already eroded away here on the north side of the Indian River Inlet. And as you can see behind me, conditions are much, much better than they were yesterday. People surfing and enjoying a nice night on the beach, but the conditions are better. The damage is already done. Lounging on the north side of the Indian River Inlet.
It's a beautiful day on Delmarva.
A wildly different scene than we got just 24 hours earlier. This was the north side of the inlet on Thursday as the coast was pelted by heavy waves and winds. While the sun was out today and the winds calmed down, what Erin stole from the coast is evident. Erosion ripping away huge chunks of sand and dune. Meanwhile, just a few miles north of the inlet on Route 1, Bayside flooding shut down the major roadway overnight. DelDOT says they will continue to monitor this area today and throughout the weekend to see if they possibly have to close Route 1 again. Now, if we take a look to my left, you can see where this water is coming from off of the bay here on Tower Road. And now as we get lower onto the road, you can see the consistent current pushing this water down towards the end of Tower Road.
DNREC official Kathleen Bergen says Bayside flooding is unique to this storm.
This storm in particular just happened to have very strong winds that were driving the water into the inland bays.
Back to the inlet where local surfer Elijah Jones got a up-close look at the waves today.
Now they're huge. I couldn't imagine what yesterday was, because if it can come up here and take all this sand away like that, it's got to be crazy. It's got to be huge.
It's not yet clear on how much it will cost to fix all this, and it's not clear yet where the money will come from.
We're working very closely with our lawmakers and our upper leadership to develop a long-term solution plan here.
While the sun is now shining down on Delmarva yet again, Erin has left more than just footprints in the sand.
DNREC says in September, the Army Corps of Engineers will do a beach renourishment event here on the north end of the Indian River Inlet. Live at the Indian River Inlet, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
And now we're looking at some flooding in Oak Orchard on River Road, aptly named. Totally submerged streets and jellyfish in the street. This was shot this morning around 10-11 a.m. Not something I've seen before.
I had to watch that twice to make sure that was really a jellyfish, and it was. In Cape Henlopen State Park, quite a few people were out at the beaches today, including Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken. Emma, areas of the park, popular ones, still closed and will be tomorrow as well.
Maddie, usually you can drive right on to the beach here, but today, like several other days this week, this entrance remains closed due to what DNREC calls high surf and unsafe conditions, and all the swimming beaches in the park are closed too, but that didn't really stop people from coming out to the beach today, and even some of those people braving the water. DNREC says, again, it's these surf, fishing, drive-on, and swimming beaches specifically that are closed due to continued high surf. And Coast TV did not see any cars on the beach out here today, but as for swimmers, that was a different story. People were in the water, and we spoke with some people who say the weather earlier this week already put a damper on their vacation, and with the sun shining today, they weren't about to miss out again.
When we came in and everybody's in the water, we were kind of like, okay, we're not going to go deep in the water, but maybe like wet our feet and just stay by the shore.
And DNREC says for the surf fishing drive-on beaches like here, those are now closed through tomorrow. They've already canceled and refunded all reservations. If anything changes, DNREC says they'll update their social media. Reporting live here in Cape Henlopen State Park, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Emma. And all drive-on surf fishing crossings remain closed at the Delaware Seashore State Park and Fenwick Island State Park. Water access is closed at Towers Ocean and Fenwick Island State Park. The camp store at the South Inlet Campground is closed, but the day area, that's open. All of this brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know what worries you the most about beach erosion.
Let's take a look at the updated results. 57% say replenishment cost, 10% say environmental harm, and 33% say beach damage.
If you haven't voted yet, if you want to leave a comment, you can do either at coasttv.com or use our mobile app, and we will show you updated results tonight on Coast TV News at 11.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Ocean City. You can still see a lot of waves out there. That's a pretty heavy surf for this area. As we turn it over to our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono, who's been tracking this all week. Chris.
Oh yeah, it's been a long week. Good evening, Maddie and Charlie. But it's been a gorgeous day otherwise with the issues at the coast. And yes, some folks trying to, I know it's tempting, braving the waters. I suggest not going in further than knee deep, but we saw these waves crashing along the boardwalk yesterday, still dealing with 5 to 9 foot waves. This is kind of that swim at your own risk time of the day, but we're going to deal with the wave action through the weekend as well as the high risk of rip currents. 74 in Ocean City. There's Erin, still kicking now. A post-tropical cyclone has lost its tropical characteristics as this system just kind of pushes up into the North Atlantic. There's a wave action, 6 to 9 foot waves with that wind coming out of the northeast. So we still have coastal flooding issues. Moderate coastal flooding for high tide tonight. And then this has been extended actually into Sunday, which means that we could see some minor tidal flooding through the high tide cycles, at least through Sunday, and that's going to be the issue as well for the bay side as well, at least through about 8 o'clock Saturday. So there's that threat of moderate coastal flooding through the coast and the back bays, up to 1 to 2 foot of inundation likely during the high tide cycle through this evening. Now, as far as your bay forecast is concerned, we're looking at pretty nice conditions for the weekend, mostly sunny skies into your Saturday and Sunday through Crisfield and Cambridge. Now, as we go into Sunday night, we're going to be dealing with a cold front, and that could spawn a few isolated storms through the Delmarva. We'll talk about, though, a gorgeous weekend ahead and even some autumn-like temperatures by the end of that 7-day forecast.
Chris, thank you, and we're just getting started this evening.
In sports, we preview the hard-hitting action in the ring for Stellar Saturday.
But first, Jeep Fest in full swing in Ocean City. We'll bring you live there when we are back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Ocean City Jeep Fest has been cruising all day under much better conditions today.
Much better, and with Erin pulling away steadily, the event is kicking into full gear.
Now let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Paul Williams, for today's recap and what's ahead for Jeep Fest tomorrow.
Well, you know what, guys? The bottom line here is just this same time yesterday, we couldn't have stood in the same place because we had inundation and flooding that was going on that covered the entire obstacle course. But this is a look at the obstacle course. Take a look with all the hills and the valleys and the dunes and all that kind of stuff. Now, earlier, we actually got into the Jeep and tried to drive this course. Take a look at this video real quickly. Now, one thing about today's festivities, from 10, it was when we had the Kicker Sand course kicked off, and this is kind of what you're seeing right now. Meanwhile, throughout the convention center, you had vendor village, and the crowd swelled up significantly there. Then you had Jeep gear that was available for folks that wanted to just enjoy live music, check out the show, and shine entries, filling the halls with custom rides. And today was really interesting because they were able to get everything up and running pretty quickly with the problems with Erin. But this time around, now that Erin's sashayed away, things are a whole lot drier and a whole lot more cooperative. So, and that was kind of how it was to go ahead and go through the course with our Jeep. Now, we had to go slowly because we didn't want to get stuck. But as we come back here live, a couple of things to keep in mind. This is really an interesting and fascinating course. In fact, hey, Charlie and Maddie, don't tell the boss. Look. This is how deep it is, man. I mean, we're looking at all kinds of crazy craters and stuff like that. I have to be honest. It's like having fun in the sand all day long. Tomorrow they have the same thing that's going to be happening. They're going to kick off with more obstacle course stuff that's happening here for tomorrow morning and even going into Sunday. So Jeep Fest is in full effect, especially now that we've uninvited Erin and all of her effects. I'm Coast TV Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams, live here in Ocean City for Jeep Fest. Back to you guys, and I'm going to go and kick some sand and have fun.
Well, Paul's having a good time there in Ocean City. We're going to see plenty of sunshine if you're heading to the courses tomorrow morning. I'll tell you what, we're starting off in the 50s and 60s. Very comfortable conditions, 82 degrees, and it gets even better from here on out. We'll have a look at that extended forecast after the break. Well, folks, enjoying some late afternoon beach time here, and it really was a really good beach day. Aside from the rip current risk and the high surf, we've had some really nice conditions. It's been clear, sun has been out. It's been just a gorgeous day, and we're seeing a temperature right now 74 in Rehoboth Beach, dew point 58, so very comfortable out there. It's going to be a really nice evening. Clear skies. We're going to fall to 69 around 10. Overnight lows along the coast, lower 60s, but we're going to dip into the 50s away from the coast tonight. We're holding at 75 Lewis, 75 Millsboro to 78 in Seaford, and we're at 77 Bridgeville. Winds much calmer than where we were at yesterday when we had gusts upwards of 45 miles an hour. High surf advisory up through about 8, but we're going to continue to see that risk of rip currents really through the weekend. The other issue is the coastal flooding concern. Really, that's going to go run through Sunday now. They've extended this. We're going to see moderate flooding issues issues along the Delaware coast tonight, and then some minor tidal flooding through the weekend through high tide cycles. And that coastal flooding concern goes all the way through portions of Worcester County, as well as along the bay side, Dorchester and Wacomico counties. We could be dealing with some minor tidal flooding again through the high tide cycles here over the next 2 days. High pressure in control. You can see pretty quiet, clear skies throughout much of the mid-Atlantic. So there's that moderate flooding concern. Through high tide cycle, could see 1 to 2 foot of inundation there through the back bays, and we're going to hit high tide there 9:28 Slaughter Beach to 9:08 in Lewis. Now the small craft advisory is up through the weekend as well. 8:07 there high tide Rehoboth. 9:12 Indian River Inland as we make our way down to Ocean City. 8:24 and then 8:14 Aztec Island, and then 8:02 there Public Landing. As I mentioned, a cool crisp night, 57 to 62 under starry skies, and we're going to see plenty of sunshine through the weekend. Isolated storm chances as we go into Sunday, and then we are looking at a taste of fall as we go into the middle part of next week. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow through Lewis, Rehoboth, Dewey. Temperatures 78 to 80 there. Ocean City, Jeep Fest continuing there, 80 degrees with that high risk of rip currents. Seas tomorrow, 2 to 6 foot waves, and then that high risk of rip currents will continue from Ocean City right through Assateague Island and Chickateague through your weekend. There's that cool start tomorrow, clear skies, gorgeous afternoon. They're mostly sunny skies, and then we'll see a bit more of a southerly flow as we go into Sunday, so that's going to kind of kick up the humidity a bit. Get an isolated shower or storm can't be ruled out as we go into the evening time frame, but it doesn't look all that widespread. So we're going to peak here a little with the humidity as we go into Sunday, but then we're going to drop pretty rapidly as another cold front comes through Tuesday, and we're going to be feeling some really nice dry air work in. There's that shower chance. Even into early Monday morning, we could see a brief shower, but I think most of Monday is dry, and then that secondary front comes through Tuesday into Wednesday, and we're looking at well below average temperatures as we go into next week. 79 into Tuesday. It gets even better. 76 Wednesday, mostly sunny skies. 78 Thursday, and overnight lows in the 50s.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
What's going on, sports fans? The hard-hitting action is around the corner. It's Stellar Fight 68, and you won't want to miss it this weekend.
Just about ready for the action here at Stellar Fights.
That's gonna do it.
Get those hands up, fellas.
It's a slugfest right now in the Dover building.
Oh! Dead! Oh my!
Moving on, the annual Float for the Fun is at Purdue Stadium on Sunday. Fans can purchase unlimited root beer floats for just $8. The event takes place during the series finale with the Cannonballers at 5 o'clock. All proceeds go towards the Shorebirds Fly Together Fund, which puts money towards several causes across the peninsula. It will be a fun-filled weekend, and you won't want to miss Stellar Saturday and Shorebirds Sunday. That'll for us for now. Have a great night, everybody.
Well, trying to soak up every last and here on Delmarva. 82 tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. 83 into our Sunday. A bit more humid into Sunday, and we'll see an isolated storm chance, I think, by the late afternoon into the early evening time frame. Monaco, Holland, Lewis, Delaware. You're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella there. Congratulations. You can get your latest forecast as always by dialing our First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Brockstead, Mondalis, Federico. Your 10-day shows that dangerous rip current threat continuing, unfortunately, through the weekend. Now, as we go into Monday, 84, then we'll see another cold front come through Monday to Tuesday, and that ushers in some autumn-like air throughout much of the east. Look at that, 76 by Wednesday. We're down to 55 by Wednesday morning, and then we'll see relatively below average temperatures as we go into, yes, was that Labor Day weekend? Hard to believe, right?
It is really hard to believe. Thank you, Chris, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.